Hi everyone, welcome to Abiding Home. So today I'm going to be talking about a pretty exciting topic, and that is traveling with your infant. So I will be speaking from our personal experience in doing a trip with our 9-month, almost 10-month-old son, and I will say that it went so surprisingly well. And I know that many people who travel with an infant of varying ages feel like it's just a disaster and it is so difficult to do. So our experience was in doing a road trip. So I will just give the specifics on how we did it and why we believe that some of the things that we incorporated into our trip made it a lot smoother and a lot more enjoyable for everyone. And we actually just had a ton of fun, including our son, who loved it at almost 10 months old. So I'm just going to jump right into what we did and how we went about implementing things that made the road trip smoother. So right off the bat, I will say these tips will apply to probably anywhere between like 4 months to 10-11 months. I think once your infant is entering into the toddler world or over a year old, there might be some different tips that would be helpful once your child is starting to walk and is more mobile. So, but this will probably be geared more towards that middle range infancy stage. So we went on a road trip that was pre-planned, but my number one tip in road tripping with an infant is not to over plan or make a very stringent schedule. Do not plan to see or do 10 things in a day or hit up all the tourist spots in a day. That's just going to leave you disappointed and exhausted and frustrated, because traveling with a child or multiple children, once again, I'm speaking to personal experience, so we were traveling with one child, with one infant. But it's very different from traveling as a couple, traveling with no children, or traveling solo. It requires a little bit more planning and rhythms where you can slow down, where you can say, okay, it's nap time, and we're going to take that nap because it's going to make the rest of the day go a lot smoother. So tip number one is a do not tip. Do not overpack your schedule and set realistic expectations. From the get-go, that's just going to make everyone feel a lot more relaxed and allow everyone to just have a good time and enjoy doing whatever you want to do, but just don't over plan. Don't cram a ton of things into the schedule. So we were doing a road trip, and tip number 2, this is specifically for road tripping: do not over plan stretches of drive time. So usually kids will not enjoy being in the car seat multiple hours at a time, like 4 or 5 hours. That's just a bit too much for a child to be in the car seat at a time. So plan on making some stops. Plan on whether you need to fill up on gas, taking that break and taking the child out of the car seat and playing with them, allowing them to stretch their legs and hands, and just getting them out of the car and letting them enjoy a change of scenery. So that was really crucial in incorporating little breaks. We did, the longest stretch we did was 2.5 hour drive, and he was still doing well at 2.5 hours, but pushing it to where it's very long stretches of time, infants will tend to get fussy or need to be attended to, like a diaper change or different things like that do require making more stops. So just plan that into your schedule of road tripping, especially if you're doing point A to B but have multiple stops and are spending nights in different areas. Plan on a realistic amount of time to get to your next destination. plan on making stops. It'll make everyone a lot happier, and it'll just give you the breaks that you need to get recharged and ready to hit the next leg of road travel. So tip number 3 is plan on packing the essentials. So we did actually a road trip along the coast, and it required a lot of driving and a lot of stops along the way. It was very scenic, so we were able to enjoy it, and our son looked out the window and he was able to somewhat enjoy it. He enjoyed reading and doing little things and playing with toys in the car as well, just because he could see them closer to him. But plan on packing the essentials. Essentials for us were food. So he's formula fed, and we made sure I pre-made his bottles. I would portion out the amount of water and pack 8 bottles with the drawn in water amount, and I would make little packets of the pre-portioned formula amounts, so that in the car, when it's time to feed him, I would just pour the packet in. It wasn't a big mess. I wasn't getting a gallon of water out. I wasn't, getting the formula scoops out and making a mess everywhere. It was super easy. It required a little bit of pre-planning ahead of time, getting all the bottles ready and putting them in one bag into the cabin of the car, but it just made the actual trip that much smoother, because I just open up one packet, shake, and feed as we were driving, and we didn't need to make additional stops for that. Now, if you're breastfeeding, then you would plan on making those stops to breastfeed, so that would look a little different. With formula, I would recommend just pre-making or pre-planning that as much as possible, to really make food making not a messy and chaotic experience, and when baby's getting fussy and it just escalates quickly. So that went very, very smoothly for us, because we planned out all of his bottles that he would need for the day, and it was so quick. We just shake and ready to go. It went very, very smoothly, and he was very happy with that. Along with that, I brought the cans or jars of food. I love making fresh food at home. I love boiling stuff. I would say just be flexible with when you're on the road. Our son ate the canned bottles perfectly fine. I would feed him in the car seat. I would bring him little cereal snacks and little yogurt snacks as well, just to keep him occupied, and he loves snacking as well. So that the snacks and the bottles, or planning how your breastfeeding schedule will go, that goes a long way, and just getting that ready ahead of time and making sure that their tummies are full and they are just happy as can be when they are fed on time and not overly hungry and cranky. So the next tip would be packing plenty of diapers. So I can't overstress this enough. You don't want to be left, without enough diapers in the middle of the road, or trying to look for a Walmart or Target or a store that sells diapers when you're in an area that you're not familiar with. So I just made sure we had 2 full, big packs of his diapers, and I put them underneath the seat, underneath both of our kind of seats, so we knew we had plenty. And I would take a couple of them out and put them in the pockets of our seats, and just take them out whenever a diaper change was needed. So that was really good, because I had that and wipes on hand so that they were comfortable. And then the ideal way is just doing the diaper change when you're filling up gas, or you need to make that quick stop. Getting that taken care of, throwing out the diaper into a trash can goes a long way to, not having smells and things filling up your car, because you're in close proximity with everyone. There's, limited space and air. So just keeping our car fresh was important to us. It just made our moods better, and everyone just seemed to enjoy themselves better than having like a, just different smells that aren't very pleasant in the car. So that was perfect. And I would say plan on packing snacks for yourselves as well. So just keeping snacks for a road trip is a good way of, if your plans for lunch or dinner get moved around, you could quickly eat a snack and still not get hangry and, not get super, super hungry. So that was very good to just have that on hand for us. And also with the packing for road trips, if you're making multiple stops, tip number 4, I think I lost count, 4 or 5, is be sure to pack as light as possible. It is so tempting to bring every single possible toy and every single possible, thing that they may need. Please pack the essentials. So we were making multiple stops, and most nights we were staying in a different hotel. And so having to haul all of that up into the hotel and then bring it back down, it was a little bit of work, and we were prepared for that. Probably ideally, if you're looking for a more relaxing stay, just go to one hotel, right, and stay there for many nights. That way you don't have to worry about, unpacking, packing, unpacking. We sort of wanted that type of road trip experience. So for that reason, we packed super light. We could have probably packed even lighter. And that just helped packing go much smoother and much quicker, and just sticking to the essentials and the basics. That really helped us not feel like we were overwhelmed with stuff and stressed with getting things ready and packing and unpacking everything, as well as carrying it all with the baby. So those are the 4 or 5 top tips that I would have. And then the last tip would just be, I already mentioned this a little bit in the beginning, relax and take it easy and let go of timelines. So some of our timelines got moved around, and some of our sort of preliminary plans got moved around. Be flexible with traveling with an infant. Another tip would be, in that flexibility, is sleeping schedules. So for our son, he takes 2 naps a day, and usually at home he takes them very rigidly at 9 to 10:45 or 11, and then the next one will be at like 1 to 2, and that's fairly standard for him. On the road, he was waking up at a different time in the morning, and so sometimes naps got moved around a little bit, but we still had to make sure that he got at least 1 good nap, or preferably 2 naps in. It just helped him be in a great mood, and it helped him enjoy that trip and that experience a lot more than if we just missed his naps and were quickly trying to do more things, and he would get tired and cranky. So we focused on the naps. They were not a rigid nap schedule at all, but once again, flexibility. We were flexible with them, but made sure he got some good, solid sleeping time in. Now, the way he sleeps the best when we're out and about is just, fully laying flat in the stroller, out in the open, fresh air. So we would just pick a park and just go walk in a park, and he would fall asleep and sleep for an hour and sometimes more. And it was plenty for him to get rejuvenated, and then we would get back on the road, or, we sometimes would incorporate the nap to whatever thing we were doing. Like we did a hike in the mountains, and we incorporated, in the beginning there was just a nice little shaded area at the foothills, and we just made sure he got his nap. We sat there, just enjoyed the scenery. You could read a book if you're a reader, and then we did the hike and what we planned to do, but we had to make sure that the nap was incorporated and he was well rested. So those are the top 5 tips that I have in traveling with an infant, and they could be tweaked a little depending on the age, and there might be some things that are still important to your specific child, but I hope these tips are helpful for you in planning your next road trip or any type of travel for that matter. Remember, be flexible. have fun and enjoy making those memories with your little one. I hope to see you next time, and be sure to subscribe below. Thank you. See you soon.